He was willing to give it up. So willing that verse 7 says, he emptied himself. He emptied himself. That is just a powerful statement. The Greek verb means to pour out until it's all gone. To pour out until it's all gone. Just exactly of what did he empty himself? Well, some people might think he emptied himself of his deity, but he didn't because he couldn't. That's his nature. That's his being. That's his essence. And some might think that he divested himself of the form of God and became only a man. That's not possible because the very essence of God's nature is manifest inseparably from its characteristics and attributes. And so he didn't give up his nature as God and he didn't give up his attributes as God. Well, what did he give up? Of what did he empty himself? Well, the New Testament lays it out for us. He remained fully God. But for example, John 17:4, he said, Father, give me back the glory I had with you before the world began. He emptied himself of his glory, his divine glory. His glory in this world was veiled. On the Mount of Transfiguration, he pulled his flesh back and gave him a little glimpse of his glory, remember? But he veiled his glory when he came into this world. He set his glory aside. He gave up his honor. According to Isaiah 53, there was no beauty in him that men would desire him. He was despised. He was rejected. And we know that unfolds in the New Testament. He was hated. He was treated with scorn. He was shamed. He was spit on. He was beaten. He gave up his honor. He gave up his riches. 2 Corinthians 8:9 says he was rich, but for our sakes he became poor. It doesn't mean that he was earthly poor. It means he divested himself of all the treasures of heaven and came down and lived in a humble village and ate with the rest of the people in his family and walked the dusty streets and lived divested of incomprehensible, limitless heavenly treasures. He even gave up the independent exercise of his own will. He said, I came not to do my will, but the will of him that sent me, John 6. He said, I only do what the Father tells me to do. I only do what the Father says. I only do what I see the Father do. I do what pleases my Father. So he gave up his own personal authority, his own independent exercise of that authority. He gave up the use of his omniscience. He said, I don't even know when the second coming is going to happen. No one knows but the Father, not even the Son of Man. He gave up the use of his omnipotence. He could have called a legion of angels to defend him, but he did not do that. So he gave up his glory, his honor, his riches, the independent exercise of his will. He even gave up a favorable relationship with his Father, eventually, because he was hanging on the cross, made sin for us, and he said, my God, why have you forsaken me? Those are the things that he emptied himself of. It's a deep mystery of wisdom and power, but it's true. This is the nature of his humiliation. This is the nature of his love. Just as a footnote to that, let's say it this way, he gave up his privileges. Gave up his privileges. It's hard to do. Willingness to do that, even on a human level, of course, is a very, very difficult thing.